Hello, lovelies. Welcome to the Sacred News and Weather. I feel like it's been about 100,000 years since I've been here, but I think it's only been about 2.5 weeks. I think I came in on the Monday before I was leaving for my trip, which is the last time I saw you all. And like I said, I feel like I've led 100,000 lifetimes since then. But I'm really glad to be back here in my house. This is the first time that I am without my children at home, I think, in 3 weeks. I've had at least one child, if not both, home with me for summer for mom camp. And I'm just really enjoying my alone time today. And so I thought I'd share some of that with you. Uh, I feel like today's message, I was sitting in meditation earlier, and it feels like it's going to be for a very specific collective. It's not going to resonate for everyone. And I know that some messages are more broad and some of them are more specific. And this one feels like a very specific message. So if it's not yours, know that I will be coming back in on Wednesday with another message. So maybe that one will be yours. You can go ahead and leave it behind. As with anything I have to say here, take what resonates for you, leave the rest behind, and you can always tune back in to see what else might be here for you. So, without any further ado, I'm going to just close my eyes here and I'm just going to start listening and channeling. I will share with you first the images and the messages that came through from my meditation. And as always, as I'm sharing them with you, I'm getting more information. So you may see me leaning this way with my eyes closed. I'm usually listening. Sometimes I'm getting images from over here. Just know that that's how I hear things, see things, feel things, and give you the information that I'm giving you. The information comes from my guides as well as yours. So know that the more you tune in and listen, the more likely it will be that the messages that I'm delivering are for you. I am tapping into the collective energy of the people who are watching these videos. I'm also tapping into the energy of people who are already in my communities, in my coaching communities, and my healing communities. And I'm tapping into even potential energies who might be coming in here and catching these messages at a different time or different space. These messages are timeless. They are meant to be taken in when, in fact, you find them. So even though today is Monday, July 14th, if you are tuning into this in a completely different season and a completely different time, know that your tuning in may mean that this message is for you. Now, for real, this time, I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes and share with you what wants to come. So the first thing I heard, saw, and felt, there was a real visceral feeling in my heart space and then all the way through my body. I heard the word buckshot. And for those of you who don't know what that is, or for those of you who need a refresher, and I might not even be getting this right, what I remember of the word buckshot comes from Herr Fritzinger in my 10th grade, I believe, history class. It is the kind of ammunition where it enters, and once it enters, it disperses more ammunition throughout the human body or the animal's body. So it pierces with an initial piercing and then disperses and is even more deadly. And or the way I saw it today, it was less about killing anyone or anything or any being. It was much more about, it felt a little bit like the arrow of love, like being struck in the heart directly with an arrow of love, maybe by Cupid himself, but being struck by the arrow of love and having that love disperse all the way through your system. And then, unfortunately, what I experienced was that love being transmuted into pain. Now, I will share that we did come back to love by the end of my meditation, and I am hoping to give you the arc of how we got there, what I was shown to get us back to that love on the love pain spectrum. And for me, when I believe, I hold the belief that in the 3D, in our human world, we like to create polarities. We like to create, short, tall, hot, cold. And we often hear love and hate. But for me, the polarity that I experience around love is not love hate per se, but it's love fear. I feel like hatred is actually just a derivative of what's underneath, which is fear of the unknown. And I believe that there is no true polarity. I believe that everything is on a spectrum. We are always operating on a spectrum of love and fear. And today, that arrow pierced, I heard the word buckshot, love dispersed through our system. I could feel the warmth of the sun. I could feel the warmth of love. I could feel that really delicious dopamine hit, that comfy, cozy, this is love, this is love, this is love. And then I could feel the way that love transmuted into fear and pain throughout the collective system. The next thing that I saw when I asked for more, when I said, show me more, was the image of the tarot card, the Ten of Pentacles, which is, and I feel like I've gotten this image before here in this collective, which is the image of the abundance of love, the happy family, the beautiful, it's the image on the card is the man and the woman holding hands with their children playing. There's lots of coins. It's the most abundant, most fulfilled card in the tarot deck, along with that image of the sun, which was also present. So the sun and the Ten of Pentacles shows me like the true abundance of familial love, of wealth, of enoughness, of perfection. Like this is what we're all going for in some way, shape, or form, whether you choose to go it alone, which would actually be the Nine of Pentacles here, but whether you choose to do this in a traditional manner, I should say, whether your Ten of Pentacles looks like a more traditional Ten of Pentacles with a partner and children, or whether your Ten of Pentacles is truly just yourself and your family of choice, your chosen people around you in love and abundance. There are no rules here. And what I'm seeing, there's no clear gender roles defined. So I see divine masculine, I see divine feminine. The Ten of Pentacles is the balance of the two, whether there's male or female energy or not. It is the coming together and coming into balance and abundance and wealth. And so I saw this Ten of Pentacles, I saw the sun, I thought, oh, beautiful. But then there's that feeling of fear and pain shooting through my body. And I thought, oh, fuck, what's happening? What's up for this collective of people? And the next image that I saw was the death card, which does not necessarily mean death, though for some of you, you may have just lost a dear family member, you may have just lost a dear one. But for me, in seeing the card and feeling into the energy of the collective, it was not the physical loss of someone who's passing to the other side for the most part. Again, that may be for some of you here, but it was the loss of either a person, or the loss of faith in that family structure, loss of faith in the Ten of Pentacles, loss of faith in the empire that you've built, the belief that you can no longer have this, or the crumbling of it. It is the end of the Ten of Pentacles, of this abundance and wealth as you know it in this moment. Something is coming to an end, or something has come to an end, or something will come to an end. I try to tell people that I'm not in the business of predicting the future, but time and space are fluid the way I experience it. So for some of you, this may be happening in a future timeline or in the very near future. So the crumbling, the end of a abundant family structure that you knew. This could be the end of a relationship. Again, it could be the fall of a matriarch or a patriarch. It could be the loss of a job. There's loss involved here. There's loss in that pain and fear that was moving through my body, like buckshot, that piercing of the arrow of love, that piercing of the arrow of abundance, and then moving through the system first as love, but then as fear and pain. But wait, there's more. I almost want to tell you that it's all going to be okay because of the way my meditation ended, but so I'll let you know that now so that you stay with me and you don't run away in fear and because you don't want to hear it. I do want you to know that where we began with Buckshot turning into fear and the crumbling of the Ten of Pentacles, we came right back to the Ten of Pentacles again in a newer, more abundant form. And I could feel the love moving through my system again. So there is a complete arc of where we're going today. So stay with me, because while there is death, while there is an ending, while there is something dying off, it is in service of coming back to an even stronger, even more secure foundation, an even deeper wellspring of love and abundance, so that what crumbled can be reformed and come back into even greater health than where we began this reading today. So stay with me. But I was told to give you the good news up front, so you do stay with me. So I'm just going to regroup here. The Ten of Pentacles and the Death card and Buckshot were present. And the next image that I saw, and I think I already shared this, was the sun. And that felt like where you were and where you thought you were when you were in this Ten of Pentacles. It was that, like, I could just feel the hope and the warmth and the, this is finally it. For some of you, you met the person, you got the job, you closed the deal, something happened in the past, and it could be recent past, it could be long past, but there was some occurrence in your life that led you to believe that this was it. Like, you have arrived. You've arrived at your Ten of Pentacles. This is my partner. This is my family. This is my job. This is my abundance. This is my life. The warmth of the sun is shining. Everything is perfect. It couldn't be any more perfect. And then it crumbled. Now, the reason that it crumbled is going to be unique to each and every one of you, just as that which crumbled is going to be unique to each and every one of you. But the feeling that I had was a problem with communication, which sounds so basic, but the breakdown of communication, a breakdown of communication occurring where one person, and it was likely you, was feeling the warmth of the sun and the forward momentum, and this is it. This is my Ten of Pentacles. This is where I arrived. But the other individual, if this was a person or your work environment, there was something else happening that was not being communicated to you. It was as if there were two pathways that were existing simultaneously. There was one timeline that you were on where it was the Ten of Pentacles, it was abundance, it was the timeline. And then the entity, the person, the business, the family, the part of your family that you were working with, they were on a completely different timeline, running parallel to yours, and not communicating about what was actually happening for them or for the business or for the company or for the family. It felt like two timelines happening at the same time, where one person believed one thing was happening and another person, entity, business saw what was actually happening, and there was no communication. There was a breakdown in communication. The lower vibration, the part that was falling apart, was not communicating with the part of solidity, of abundance, of wealth. And there was deception that was happening, in that you were, or some part of you was, allowing yourself to be deceived by this other entity because this other entity, this other being, this other company was not owning up to their truth. And so these two timelines were running parallel, and one was up here and one was down here. And what needed to happen to truly land at the Ten of Pentacles, because I could really feel where that Ten of Pentacles was very real for both entities. For, maybe your company thought that you, by bringing you on, you were going to bring them to the Ten of Pentacles. And I could really feel where you thought, you believed that by linking energy with this other person, this other entity, that you were bound for the Ten of Pentacles. You were bound for this abundance and wealth and love. And I could feel where the connection was very true and very real and very present, but there wasn't the communication of where things were actually breaking down. There was no knowledge on your behalf of where things were breaking down, and there was no acknowledgement on behalf of the lower frequency, the lower vibration, to let you in on, hey, there's a problem. Hey, we're not making payroll. Hey, I'm not feeling good about this. Hey, you should probably know this thing about me. Hey, I love you. And it wasn't, I want to be clear, for the most part. Now there's always going to be an exception to the rule, but for the most part, I genuinely believe it was because this lower vibration, again, I say entity because the word entity to me implies that it could be any scenario. So I'm going to keep using the word entity. I'm going to stay with that word, but know that if it's for you, if it's a person, it's the person. If it's your company, it's the company. If it's your family, it's the family. If it's whatever it is, you insert your experience into the word entity. This entity did not consciously recognize that they were being deceiving, especially when you came together initially. The feeling was that when you joined frequencies, when you came together, there was the same warmth, there was the same sun, there was the same desire for that Ten of Pentacles, and you were moving along at the same time. But at some point, the entity started getting nervous, started wobbling, started feeling like there's not enough money, there's not enough love, something is wrong. And they failed to communicate that to you. And so for you, and you could, the roles can be reversed. You can be this lower vibration. And I say lower vibration, it doesn't make you bad or wrong. You could be a part of the lower vibration. It doesn't mean that you're evil. Like there was no, the feeling was there was no conscious deception happening here. It was unconscious, but at some point it became conscious, and that is where things started to come apart. And I feel like you could sense it, you could feel it. Something's not right. Your spidey sense was being alerted. You were like, danger, danger, danger. There's something not right here. But you were all driving toward that Ten of Pentacles and believing that the sun was going to be enough to hold you together. And you were going along and going along. And at some point, it fell apart. And for some of you, you might be in that falling apart place now. For some of you, I got the feeling that for some of you, it happened in like late winter, early spring. And it might even be like that's when it came to your awareness. But right now, things are coming apart. So the timeline feels like it was happening between like winter, spring. Like something happened. Either your spidey sense kicked in or somebody claimed something. Something happened then to get you to where you are now, which is in this place of my foundation, my love, my family, my career is fallen apart. It's come apart. It is done. And the reason was this lack of communication. Now, I'm just hearing now for some of you, This may have even happened years ago, but there's something that's coming up now that is triggering you to remember this. And it may be that you're going for a new job or you're about to enter a new relationship, and your spidey sense is going, danger, danger, danger. Do you remember what happened the last time you did this? Danger, danger, danger. And I'm just being shown to bring that forward as well, because some of you are in a place of needing to make a decision about moving forward in your life. And this past wounding, this past occurrence that or what I'm speaking about now has happened in the past, but it's here now because you're about to make a decision and you're wobbling in the decision because of what happened in the past. So I just heard that, and to bring that forward as well. And so there's this communication piece, and I feel like that's where we are in the present moment. That's where things broke down. And that's where things get to be different right now. Things get to be different right now because if you are entering into a situation where you're going to be getting a new job or entering a new relationship or contemplating something new in your life where this is coming up, communication is going to be the key. It is about putting all of your cards on the table. And I could, like, I just got cotton mouth as I said it. I can feel some of you like going, "Ugh!" I could never do that. I can feel it in my throat as well. But laying all of your cards on the table, even if it's just you in communication with yourself. So this may not be a dialogue between you and someone else just yet. Feel like ultimately it is going to be a dialogue, whether you're interviewing for a job or a promotion or whatever it is. There is going to be an actual dialogue, but what I'm seeing now is laying all the cards out on the table for you to look at first and foremost, to weigh those pros and cons first and foremost. And what I'm hearing, like as you're doing that, I can feel where I'm seeing like I'm seeing the root chakra. I'm seeing like where at the root, at the base of my spine, I'm feeling it as well. I can see where like the wounds want to pull on each and every one of those cards for you to say, nope, can't do that. Nope, can't do that. Nope, can't do that. Nope, can't do that. And you're being invited to leave those cards on the table so that you can actually work through those wounds, to just leave them on the table and work through the wounding so that you can heal. So that feels like the first step is getting really fucking honest with yourself. Like, what is fear? What is that fear moving through my body? And what is love? And knowing that the fear is going to pull at each one of those cards that you look at on the table, the fear is going to be louder than the love. But what I'm being shown is to see if you can, like, it's almost as if, if you can imagine, this is what I'm seeing. So I'm just going to share it with you. It's like, I'm seeing like probably 3, 6, 9. I'm seeing 12 cards out on the table. They're not even flipped over so I can see what they are. What I'm seeing is like a chain or a vine coming down into your root. And I'm seeing you like not even allowing yourself to flip the card over to see what's there because of the pain that is attached to your root. And so what I'm going to do energetically now is I'm just going to take a machete and I'm just going to go across the underside of the cards, and I'm going to release those vines. I'm going to release those chains. I'm going to invite a cat into my lap so that the cards can exist just as they are. And I feel like that's really important. Like, let what is there exist exactly as it is without having to go into a fearful storyline, without having to go into any sort of narrative about it. Turn those cards over first and foremost before you have the dialogue about it. Turn the cards over and just see what's there and allow it to exist exactly as it is before you make a judgment about it, before you decide, I can't do this, I can't say this, I can't have that conversation, I can't allow myself to do this. Just flip the cards over now that you can and see what's there and allow it to be. Allow yourself to see the whole spread. For some of you, I can see that you're seeing tarot cards. For others, I feel like you're seeing playing cards, like you're gambling here. Allow allow the cards to just be before you decide your next move, and allow your next move to be made not from that place of tethering to wounds and fear, but from a place of your soul's desire, of your heart's desire, in the belief, knowing that what you are going to get is the 10 of Pentacles, knowing that what you are going to get is the next level of abundance and love. Let those cards exist and trust that you are being divinely led to the next right decision for you. So we've removed the fear, we've removed the tethering so that the story can exist, the cards can exist exactly as they are. Now the invitation is to let your next move come not from fear, but from love and trust that your next right step is what you're choosing to take. And you're choosing to take it not from fear, but from seeing what's here for you and allowing yourself to move from desire. Just want to see if there's anything else here. Then coming back to the communication. And here's my throat again. This is amazing. Some of you really don't want to talk about it. I literally want to like splutter and cough. Some of you so don't want to talk about it. But I promise you that it's in the talking about it. It's in the communication that the healing is going to happen. It's in the communication that you will be able to decide from love, from abundance, from expansiveness, what your next right move is. It's in the silence. It's in the, and some of you may have these conversations with just quaking in your boots. I mean, you hear my voice, right? You say I nearly choked on my own spit or nothingness there. Some of you, your voices may rattle. You like, I can see, like, I can feel the warmth of a blush. Somebody's blushing. Somebody is really nervous. Like there's a shaky feeling. I can see where somebody is like even writing something and their hands are shaking. Trust that even in the nervousness, this is the good kind of fear. This is the kind of fear that comes not from like that painful buckshot moving through our bodies, but the kind of fear that is really what I would associate with the, and some of you know this word from working with me or our mutual teachers, nervousitis. Like some of that fear is like just that nervous-sided, like, I can't believe I'm about to have this conversation. I can't believe I'm about to speak my truth in this way. I can't believe I'm going to speak my desire. I can't believe I'm going to speak through my fear, but allow yourself to speak because it's in the communication and not the absence of communication that the healing is going to occur. And forgive me, I'm going to take another sip of my water here. Maybe my throat chakra will be put back together again now that I've communicated that piece. So what else came through? So that the cards, and then the communication piece, the image for those of you that are curious, the communication piece is the card that I saw is the Eight of Wands, which is also like that can be Cupid's arrow, which is where that arrow of love and the buckshot came from, and that love, feeling of love turning into fear, turning into pain, and coming back into love. So it's the card there is the Eight of Wands. The imagery is the Eight of Wands. But I'm going to leave that. And I'm going to move into the next image, and I will confess that I saw this and my heart stopped a little bit because it's the card that I associate with being cheated on, with being deceived in some way. And though it's not a direct card of deception the way I see it, it's just when I see the Knight of Wands, and that's the card that I see, when I see that card, when I draw that card, my alert, I go on alert around cheating. So for some of you, you have either been unfaithful or have experienced a being cheated on in some way, shape, or form. But what ultimately wanted to come through with this card was not that, not necessarily that connotation. And so bear with me as I talk my way through this as well, because I'm hearing, I feel like I'm getting more of that now. So I see that card, and what I hear is like player's going to play, right? So it's somebody who can't commit, right? Can't, is afraid of commitment. And so for some of you, very directly, that 10 of Pentacles, that happy family and that son crumbled because somebody couldn't commit, or you were going along committed and then the end of the commitment happened because somebody wanted to experience more freedom. And that's actually where I am being shown to go with this card when I see it. Today anyway, is really toward more freedom. And the way I experienced it today after that initial, oh shit, like, is this like, are people in my collective really being cheated on? And for some of you, you are. And if this is you, I'm very, very sorry. But what this card, the energy of this card today was inviting us into was really the pursuit of freedom, but the pursuit of freedom through communication, through keeping the energy flowing between you, through dialogue. So not this like I'm going to go do whatever the fuck I want and call that freedom, because I could see there, and this is true for most cheaters also, the reason that they are being unfaithful, the reason that they're playing is because they don't feel free. And this is one way that they can trick themselves into feeling free, when in fact most adults are actually striving for, at least older adults, and I may have some younger folks in this collective, I don't know, most of my people I feel like are somewhere between 35 and like in their 70s. So but most older adults are not really looking to play for the sake of exploration. They are, if they are cheating, they are really looking to feel free when they in fact don't. And so that's where I was shown to go, and to really examine the energy, invite you into examining the energy in your nervous system of where you feel tethered again to your root. So the place where your story is tethered to your wounding, because that is where, if we can look there, if we can see where the tethers are to our wounding, that is actually the ticket to true freedom, cutting those ties, healing those wounds, and allowing your story to exist just as it is, knowing that it's the next step that you take that actually writes your story, not where you've been, not your past wounding, not even necessarily the cards on the table, but the choice, the next choice that you make, the next right decision that you make. And we can trust that it's going to be the right decision because it's the decision you make, especially if you're making it out of freedom and not fear. If you're making it out from this place of, this is my blank slate, these are the cards before me, and I'm choosing to make my next right decision. If you're making it when not tethered to those wounds, and you're making it from the desire to rewrite your story, to write a new version of your narrative, to write the next best chapter of your life, that is where true freedom lies, not in the tethering to the wounds, not in where you've been, but in your decision to allow your next decision, your next spacious, open, love-based decision, expansive decision to be made. That is where the true freedom lies. And so being invited into the Knight of Wands, that is like just this freedom and passion, and what is the spark, what will give me spark, what will give me sparkle. For some of you, especially if this is career related for you, like if the foundation that fell apart is your work life, really tuning into not the wounding, not the scarcity, not the fear of my foundation. I'm jobless, or I may be jobless. This is not the job that I was promised. This is not the situation that I was promised. Allowing yourself to connect with what ignites your passion, with what ignites your spark, truly, not from wounding, but truly, like what deserves my loving attention? What can I communicate to another, to this entity, that will open things up for me? Let's make our next right decision from there. And it's from that place of choosing, from expansiveness, from passion, from desire, from freedom from your wounding, freedom from the fear, freedom from those tethers. That is where you are going to come into this next version of your 10 of Pentacles. You know, the tarot is not static. It is ever changing. So we are constantly moving from 10, from the 10 of Pentacles to the Ace of Pentacles. We are constantly evolving in our lives through each of the suits. The Pentacles is usually wealth and abundance, but it's also abundance of love as well. And it can very much, and it feels for many of you here in my collective, it feels very much related to love and creating this next version of your empire, this next chapter of your life where one has crumbled and you're in fear right now, but you need not be in fear. You get to heal, you get to make the next right decision. And the next version of the 10 of Pentacles that we are working toward is an even stronger foundation. It's even more abundant. It's even more rich than you could possibly even imagine right now. And that feels important to mention as well. So much of what we believe is possible for us is coming from the imagery that we see from outside of ourselves. We're told that we should want this version of this life. We're cultured, we're wounded, we are nurtured, we are grown to have these expectations of what our true 10 of Pentacles is. And then we're shown imagery on, in the media, social media, movies. We have so much information coming at us from the outside. And this is really an invitation to grow your 10 of Pentacles from within, from a healed, untethered version of what you desire your life to look like, but knowing and letting go of the images and the beliefs that you think that you should have to get to your 10 of Pentacles. And I'm going to find a different way to say this because I don't feel like this was clear. Sometimes we need to get the hell out of our own way in order to grow into the highest timeline, the highest version of ourselves. Sometimes often we can't possibly even begin to imagine what is truly possible for us because we're so stuck on what we think we want, what we believe we should have, what we deserve, what we believe we should deserve. And so there's a real invitation to get the hell out of your own way, to get quiet, to allow those cards, to flip those cards over in front of you to see what's there, and to trust that where you're going may not be at all where you think you're going to go, may not look at all like what you believe you deserve or should want, or your family believed you should want, or society believes you should want. We're being invited to let go of any and all ideas of where we should go and to stay open to where we get to go is what it is. It's like, where do I get to go if I trust that I am worthy and desiring and believing there's such a worthiness piece here. I am not worthy of all of these great things that I want for myself, so I'm just going to keep myself really strong, really small. When in fact, we are all inherently worthy simply because we exist, but we have had our worthiness beaten and cultured out of us. We have allowed our mistakes, we've allowed our past timelines, our past choices to dictate where it is that we're allowed to go. And so I'm just being shown to remind you that this next version of the 10 of Pentacles, this next version of everything you've ever wanted and more, can really be about the and more if we can let go of all of the narratives that are holding us back and all of the expectations that we have placed on ourselves and other people, and allow what's to come to unfold in the way that it's meant to unfold, believing that we are worthy and deserving of wealth and abundance and love and joy and all the good things in life. All of the good things. All of the good things. And I'm just going to be quiet for a moment to see if there's anything else that wants to come forward. And I'm just hearing this message is complete. And so I'm going to leave us here. I'm going to leave you here with so much love and gratitude that you came to hang out with me today, that you took the time to listen and ingest and digest. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, come ask me questions. You can ask me in the comments below. You can ping me in any way you know how to reach me. I am on all the socials. Yeah, come talk to me about what you heard today. I love you so much. I will see you, God willing, and the creek don't rise on Wednesday. Bye-bye.